Hey, y'all, and welcome to Shade in the City. I'm your girl, Treese. And yes, we are here to go beyond the gates. This is season one, episode 70. This is Tuesday's episode. So, all of my BTG Shade Squad, if you have not already, please make sure you hit that like button. And for all of our new viewers and for those that have, just been kind of lingering around, you wasn't really sure, and you haven't found your home church yet, just come to the front, enjoy, come to the front. But no, so yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and let's get into this episode, because I was shocked. Okay, I mean, we'll get into it, but I was shocked. I was like, that's what we do. We just pack it up and we got the dipping. But yeah, let's get into it and let's get shady. So we open up this episode. Danny and Andre are in the bed when he mentions that she tossed and turned all night the night before, probably because she was thinking about Bill. And so Danny apologizes for disturbing him and says she's sure that Bill's going to be fine if he just follows the doctor's orders. And then I don't know if anybody else clocked this. She then goes on to talk about how Bill blew his back out. I guess they were in bed. And I said, why is this the story that you want to share? Like, have you ever, I don't know about y'all, but have you ever dated somebody or went on a date with somebody, getting to know phase, and all they do is talk about their ex? That's a turn off. And Andre is better than me because I'm tired. I'm tired. And I'm actually a little concerned now because y'all know I love me some Andre. And I feel like Danny might really hurt him because it's something going on with Bill. They was giving the eyes the whole episode. It was the eyes. I know y'all seen it because I seen it. Okay. And so Andre is confused at how she can care for Bill so much after everything that he's put her through. So then Danny tells him about how when she looked over and she was seeing Naomi and Chelsea with Haley, and just at that moment, all having to deal with Bill and him being all complicated, that it made them all connected. And she couldn't even remember why she hated Haley so much. And so Andre tells her that, it would be natural that she would find common ground with Haley's husband being sick. And look, Danny, she's like, oh, so that's how you gonna do me? And I was like, yeah, girl, I feel like you kind of low-key need a reminder sometimes. So Andre says, but look, it's perfectly natural to be worried about Bill, and says clearly there was something good in him because you was married to the man for all these years. So Danny tells Andre that she wants him, but something inside her broke when Bill dumped her. And she says she wants to fix it, but she can't figure out how to. And so Andre offers his help. And that's when she hears her daddy downstairs calling her name. And I said, woo, 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 woo. All right. Now, Chelsea got on my nerves this episode. I ain't even gonna hold you. I thought it was bad last episode. No. Again, last episode, I didn't think Chelsea could be more of a thirst bucket than she was, but they definitely wrote it that way. So, okay, so Chelsea's following 3M around the hospital on her live stream. And, Madison 3M, Dr. Montgomery, wherever you want to call her, she shares that, she is a nerdy bookworm who basically always wanted to be a doctor. So she graduated high school early, went to college, did all the things. And yeah, she was focused. She was focused, man. All right. So she tells Chelsea that she actually enjoyed doing the live stream, despite what she originally thought. And then in my notes say that she kind of started acting like a fan. She a fan. Okay. started acting like that again a little bit. And so, but then, as she's talking to Chelsea and, we're just filling her up with all these compliments and, oh, I feel like you should be like this because you do this. And Chelsea, and she realizes that Chelsea is much different than probably most influencers, and obviously likes that about her, right? So we cut over to Bill, who's in his room making work calls, and Ashley is sitting there scolding him for basically not resting, like as the doctor told him to. So Bill is over Ashley and her formalities and her telling him what to do, because we all know that that's Naomi's best friend. And he's like, little girl, leave me alone. I've probably known you since you were 5. Leave me the hell alone. Okay. And stop telling me what to do. Now, he basically tells Ashley, like, look, I need to be getting up and, trying to walk. And so he had dropped his Bluetooth and he goes to pick it up. And this man literally almost cracked his head. And thank God that Ashley caught him, or he would have been straight in the floor, because Bill ain't got it. He's trying, he's getting it, but he ain't got it. And conveniently, just as Ashley catches him, Haley walks through the door. So, and she's like, oh, I see you feeling better. So Vernon is asking Anita about the articulates reuniting as he always does. And she doesn't think that there's any chance of that after she let Sharon and Tracy have it and told them to kick rocks, right? So Vernon is surprised that she's willing to let it go so easily. And Anita is like, you know what? I'm more concerned about Danny's state of mind after Bill having this stroke. So they agree they're going to go over to check on Danny, which we know is why Vernon showed up at her house, right? And so they agree that they're going to go over and check up on Danny when Anita is met at the door by Sharon and Tracy. So Anita looks at Vernon and she's like, oh, you know what? Please make sure that we call the guards and get these passes taken away. And that's when Tracy marches in and says, you know what? I got something to say and y'all gonna listen. Okay. And so Anita sends Vernon. She's like, you know what? Go check. You can go check on Danny alone. I can handle Tracy and Sharon. And so, Tracy said, y'all heifers are getting on my nerves. And I'm going to talk and y'all going to listen. And so I said, okay, Tricky Tracy, I still got my good eye on you. You and Sharon and Ethel. I still got my eye on y'all, okay? Now, Naomi and Jacob are down at Orphe Jean's, and she's looking over June's case. And I believe it was June's case. And y'all to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And how she may be able to get dismissed. And so Jacob mentions how she tossed and turned all night as well. And so he asked her if she plans to go to the hospital to visit Bill. And Naomi's like, nope, I'm good. And so, of course, he's a little thrown off by that, because he's like, well, why wouldn't you go visit your dad? Danny, of course, thinking that Vernon is still downstairs, she's run to the top of the stairs to be like, oh, I'm going to be right there or whatever. And that's when we see that Jacob had called Vernon and basically asked him, can you please come talk to Naomi? And so Vernon basically yells upstairs and tells Danny, look, I'll see you later. Now, back at Bill's hospital room, Haley's getting on him about all the work that he has in front of him. And she tells him that she plans on bringing him some parenting books so they can talk about this baby that she's supposed to be carrying. And how he's a good father, and that's why she wants to have his baby. The father, the friend. I mean, y'all know Father's Day is Sunday, but so the father, the friend gets world's best dad award. Okay, Haley, and that makes you want to carry his baby. Okay. Until he's your daughter's friend. Okay. All right. Let's jump back over to Anita's. Tracy is explaining to the ladies, look, neither one of us are perfect, and I'm ready for us to stop fighting. So she's like, we've been beating up on each other, and that's not going to change the past, and none of that's going to bring Barbara back for real. So Tracy reminds them that although they all collectively hurt Barbara, she doesn't think Barbara would want them to go on hurting each other. She's like, hey, so I think that we should try to move past it, even if it's only one last performance. And so Anita and Sharon still can't get on the same page, but Tracy says, look, I think that we can do it. And so she shows them an old photo of them when they were young, I don't know if anybody clocked the photo. I wish I could have screenshot it, but y'all let me know. Do y'all think that was the same photo that June had that fell out her bag? Because I think it was. Y'all just put that little nugget in your basket. But I really do think that was the same photo. I think the connection is going to start to come together because, we've been waiting for it. We've been waiting for it to drop. So we'll see. So then, she talks about the bond that they used to have and how she just wants to reclaim their sisterhood. And so she's like, can we put our differences aside and try to move forward? And so Anita admits, like, look, I've been real hopeful since the reunion was brought up that we could, get this thing back together, and I'd be willing to try. So finally, Sharon agrees. But see, again, I still don't trust Sharon and the Ethel wig, because we didn't already know she just want to find a way to throw Anita to the wolves so she can make her light shine. You know what I'm saying? So, but Sharon agrees and says that she's willing to try to get back some of what they lost, but they'll never know unless they give it a shot. And so Tracy's like, so is that do you mean just business or is that friendship? And they like, well, we gonna try to work on both. So they getting in the articulates are back. We are better together, sisters forever. They said something like that, but that's what they said. All right. So Vernon gets down to Offrey Jeans, and Naomi is going off on Jacob about why the hell keeps questioning her and why she's not going to the hospital. So Naomi tells him that, look, he's receiving the best care. What am I supposed to do? He don't need me. And Vernon interrupts and asks her, well, why would you say such a thing? And so Jacob leaves them alone to talk. And Naomi says she feels that it's all her fault. The Bill is in the hospital in the first place. And she admits to feeling guilty for not pushing her father to go to the doctor and noticing the signs, and she feels like she just sat back and let it happen. So I actually love this conversation with her and Vernon, and he actually shares Anita's story without giving it away that it was Anita, and basically saying like she shouldn't put that type of guilt on herself. And I love what he said. Vernon tells her she can't take blame for something that was in God's hands. I said, okay, you better tell her. Preach, brother, preach. All right. And so, yeah, he kind of shares Anita's story about blaming herself, for someone's passing, and allowing it to eat at her for years. And so Vernon says, he also has a similar story with his uncle Cornelius that he was close to, and they used to play ball together. And I guess Uncle Cornelius fell out on the basketball court one day, and he didn't say nothing. And then that same night, they took him to the hospital for a stroke, and he was there for months. And he said, but I think the point of the story was that luckily Uncle Cornelius pulled through and did what he needed to do, and they were able to play again many more times. But basically he tells Naomi to go to see your daddy and let him know he needs to focus on getting better. And I said, I love this. I loved it. Because normally when we see this, I feel like it's more Anita, Naomi. So I liked seeing this Vernon, and y'all, I'm just feeling away. I know I'm not going to jump ahead, but I'm just really feeling away that she just dipped. But anyway, so Andre wants to go grab breakfast with Danny after, things have calmed down. They realize that Vernon is gone. And she declines and tells him that she's going by the hospital to check on Bill. So he lets her know that he's headed that way as well, because he has to drop off some footage from the nursing documentary, I guess, for the security people. And so Danny suggests, well, we can ride together. And he was like, oh, I thought you said that, we were keeping our situationship on the low. Okay. And so now 3M, the mysterious Madison Montgomery, she's in Bill's room giving him another series of tests. Bill, apparently there was some procedure that he's supposed to have with maybe some medicine, and he thought this was going to magically cure him. So he starts getting snippy with Dr. Montgomery when she tells him that he's actually going to have to put a little effort into his recovery. Okay. And Danny walks in, and Chelsea fills her in on all of 3M's instructions. 3M says to him, hey, You want to get better? You're going to have to do rehab. It just is what it is. And so at this point, he said, fine, what do I need to do? And so she said, okay, let me introduce you to your physical therapist. She's right outside. And ta-da! It's Shanice. I loved it. So Dr. Madison Montgomery, the mysterious, walks out and Chelsea goes running behind her. And I was like, oh my God, Chelsea. Chelsea. And shout out to, I forgot who put it in the comments, and I'll make sure I get it on Wednesday's video. But shout out to whoever dropped in the comments and named Catlock. I absolutely love it. It's sticking. I loved it. Like Matlock, we now have Catlock. That was, you get a gold star for that one. You get a gold star for that one. So shout out to you. I will make sure I get your name next time. Next recap, and really give you a proper shout out. But that was a good one. Anyway, so yeah, Chelsea goes running after 3M after she walks out the room. And Bill is questioning Shanice's credentials when Danny interjects and asks him, well, do you remember the little boy that broke his neck, that had the neck injury, and says, because of Shanice, he's walking again. So you better stop. Put some respect on that girl name. And so Haley goes on about how Bill plans to, teach her baby all kinds of things. And we're going to go swimming and we're going to build sand castles and we're going to, and Bill's like, yeah, okay, but I'm okay. That's what you thought. All right. When have we seen Bill go to the gym? One time. Every time he's been to the country club, have we ever, we've never, outside of this scene, when have we ever seen Bill outside of a suit? So I don't think Bill has time to be in the gym. I'm just saying. So I don't know how he gonna keep all this up and be running around with these kids. But okay, Haley. So then Shanice said that, all right, well, you know what? I'm gonna be back to circle back for your first session. So Haley asked Danny to give her and Bill some privacy. And before she is able, walks out the door, Bill thanks her for coming by to check on him, and they giving him eyes. Them eyes. I told y'all. And so Haley is, she mentions how surprised she is that Danny was so well behaved. And when Danny walks out the room, she sees Andre talking to Ashley. And so she tells Andre that she's ready to cash in that rain check for breakfast at All Free Jeans that he was offering her earlier. And so Ashley seems like, I don't know if y'all clocked it, but Ashley seemed like she might have been a little bit jealous when she saw Andre and Danny get into the elevator together. But anyway, and so then we see Chelsea doing what else? Bothering the mysterious Madison Montgomery. Okay. And so she's like, oh, do you think my dad will make a full recovery? And 3M's like, hey, I assure you, Shanice, she ain't gonna take no, and she gonna get the job done. And lets her know, I'll see you around. Stop chasing me. Stop. Oh my God. Have some coof about yourself. Jesus. All right. Now, Vernon comes home. Y'all. Vernon comes home and Anita has her bags packed and ready to go to Chicago the same night so they can start rehearsing. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. She said, I wonder what would have happened if Vernon wouldn't have walked in the door when he did. Because she said she tried to get in touch with the other family members and they didn't answer. But she's still getting her ass on that plane and going. I said, damn, Anita. So Vernon's like, well, what? There's nowhere in DC. Like, I just don't understand why you need to go all the way to Chicago. And so Anita's like, look, I need to get back to my roots and what made me. I need to confront what I buried and deal with it up close and personal. And she tells him that, she's tired of carrying the weight. And so Vernon is just like, okay, I'm not really sure how to break this news to the family, especially with not a lot of backstory, but I'll hold down the fort till you get back. Au revoir. Toodle. Like, was anybody else as flabbergasted? because mine was. My flapper was gasted. This I was like, wow. And this is gonna sound really crazy. For me, and y'all may disagree with me in the comments, but in that moment, to see how eager she was and excited to get back on the road, that she was willing to disregard leaving her family, everything else that's going on right now. She gonna hop her ass on that plane and do what she want to do. And I said, well, I hope that we learned something from our previous behaviors, but maybe we haven't. Maybe we haven't. I don't know. Y'all drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that Andre has left the drive with the hospital documentary for Ashley. And I guess Ashley questions whether the hospital wants it because of the whole Leslie case. And meanwhile, we jump to Danny and Andre are being at Off Jeans, and she's debating whether they should even be there. And so Andre tells her that, look, my concern is to make sure that you're good. All right. And so she talks about how things felt familiar to how they used to be between her and Bill. And I said, girl, I guess, you know what? At this point, maybe they don't need to be more like, they probably do just need to be good friends. Because at this point, he's becoming a confidant for her. And it's not like, there's just nothing sexy about you constantly bringing up your ex. It's just not. And I understand he's a man and maybe he don't care, but eventually I think that's going to get very old. But I don't know. Y'all can disagree with me. So Danny does apologize for sitting there yearning over Bill. And Andre tells her that he wishes that he could keep her from hurting. And she admits that actually she's more concerned about hurting him, like Bill hurt her. And I said, that part. And then we see Naomi and Jacob finally make it to the hospital, and she's thanking Haley for taking care of Bill and, you know, getting him there when she did. And so Haley and Jacob excuse themselves so they can have a father-daughter conversation. And so Naomi is just like trying to get to the bottom of like how he's really doing. And, you know, Bill's trying to get back to work. He plans to make a full recovery. She goes to bring him some banana pudding from Off Jeans because, you know, it's either that or Uptown, you know. And so, which Bill is excited to get into until Shanice comes in to confiscate it and throws that in the trash and said, let's get to work. And yeah, that was episode 70 of Beyond the Gates, y'all. So let me know what you thought about this whole Anita picking up, straight up leaving, chunking up the deuces on her husband. Y'all, I don't know. I know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to feel. That I feel like that's some stuff you do when you're 20. That's some stuff when you do like when she did that back then, that made sense to me when she did it. That's your time to pursue your dreams and save everything and everybody. But who am I, right? Who am I to say that? Okay. So y'all can disagree with me in the comments if y'all want to, or agree. Okay. But if you guys have not already, please make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you guys comment, as I know you will. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we're dropping our other recaps, reviews, going live, and all that good stuff, members only. So yeah. And if you and make sure you're following us on all the platforms as well. That's the Blue Sky, the TikTok, the IG, and the Facebook. And yeah, y'all, I appreciate you. I love y'all. And I will catch you tomorrow for the Hump Day episode. And that would be episode 71. Have a good night. Bye-bye.